All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide toll-free, 800-610-7035. My email address is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, Xzone Radio TV. And our website is www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour, Exonation, is Kayla Ambrose, and she is your travel guide to the other side. An award-winning author, national columnist, inspirational speaker, and host of the Explore Your Spirit with Kayla show. Her teachings are described as discerning, empowering, and inspiring. Whether she's speaking with world-renowned experts on the Explore Your Spirit with Kayla show, writing about empowering lifestyle choices, or teaching to groups around the country, fans around the world tune in daily for her inspirational musings and lively, thought-provoking conversations. Her website, www.exploreyourspirit.com. And joining us now is Kayla Ambrose. And Kayla, welcome to the X Zone.
Thanks so much, Rob. Happy to be here.
Tell me, what got you started on your quest, your spiritual journey?
For me, this time, I was born this way. I was born into it, and it seems like every third generation in our family has red hair, and when we come back with that, we seem to be into all these woo-woo things. So wow. I took after my grandfather, and when I was born, my mother said, "Oh no, look what I got."
How has your spirituality and your quest changed your life and affected the lives of those that you've touched?
I think everything that we do, any of us on any quest, it can't help but affect us and everyone else around us. Mm-hmm. I started from a very young age remembering who I was and remembering past lives and having prophetic dreams that I would talk to my parents about. They would find me in the library where I would be rewriting the books on mythology and ghosts and all those things and trying to teach the adults there and saying, this is not how it happened. I would remember it. And so I was editing these books, and the library would call and tell my parents, you've got to come get her. She's defaced another book, and you've got to buy the book. So I had a great library growing up.
now, you've written a book entitled The Awakened Aura. Give us a little bit of an encapsulated version of what the book's about.
I was so excited to write this book because I've seen auras since I was little and kept my own notebook about what that means, seeing the different colors and layers around the people. And I noticed about 12 years ago that the auras around everyone started changing. I think there's a lot of great aura books out there. So before I hadn't really thought to write one. There's great information on the colors. But when I started to see everything change in the aura and it saw that we were evolving, it was creating kind of a new grid around us to receive information differently. That's why I had to write the book, to say we are evolving, things are changing, and this consciousness energy grid around us known as the aura is helping us make this leap, this evolutionary leap. So I wanted to explain about that, the science of it, how it's working with epigenetics, how it's connecting inside with the chakras, on the deepest levels within affecting us, how we manifest it outward, and how information is going to come more freely to us, piercing the veil in a sense. And one of the quickest ways I describe it is that we have cords that attach in the aura, go up to the higher planes, and these cords are a certain size, but now they're getting bigger. So I liken it to like how we used to have dial-up modem, and now we have high-speed internet. The cords are bigger. We get information downloads more frequently and much faster.
So what are we evolving to?
That's a big question, isn't it?
Sure is.
And I don't even know if I know completely. I just see what's happening. There's big cords around people in their solar plexus that just are hanging out, and I can see energy moving out of it, sluggish, kind of gray-colored energy, and it seems to be helping us dump old energy, things we don't need to hold on to, old thought patterns, old memories, even karmic things, letting it go. The more a person seems to let it go, this cord gets smaller and smaller in the auric field till it looks like an umbilical cord when you see a newborn baby. And then eventually what I've noticed is when it seems to be done, it drops off, it disappears, and then the cords in the higher chakras, the heart chakra, and up higher, they tend to get more active and bigger and reach out. So it's promoting an evolution within us, lifting us into a higher consciousness. What the end result will be, we will all see. I watch every day and make more notes on that because that's one of the great mysteries.
It sounds as if we're purging ourselves.
Yes, I think we are. Yeah. And I think it's part of knowing that there is a grand design to this, even if we don't understand that there is a certain design in our genes and our genetics and our aura and the energy fields that helps us make the next shift in consciousness, whether it's dimensional, whether it's the shape of our bodies,
right,
how we perceive information, something is happening.
All right, Kayla, please stand by. You and I have to take our first commercial break. Exonation Kayla Ambrose is our guest this hour. She's your travel guide to the other side. She's also the author of a new book entitled The Awakened Aura. Her website, www.exploreyourspirit.com. And Kayla and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break in 2 minutes. Don't go away. Welcome back, everyone. This is the X-Zone. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Kayla Ambrose is my special guest this hour. www.exploreyourspirit.com. Let me ask you this, Kayla. What does the aura body do for us, and how does it connect and represent the state of our chakra fields? This, to me, is rather amazing how you're able to tie all this together.
It's an old teaching. It's been around, one of those universal truths, I guess we say. If you look at every kind of spiritual organization and teaching, when they come down to the basics, they talk about an old axiom. The Greeks called it as above, so below, as within, so without, saying that all connects and radiates together. So the chakras are inward, the aura is outward, manifesting that. And I teach people all over how to see the aura and have a really good success rate where people can see the first layer usually within a day or so of study with me. It's part of who we are. We first see it as that white light energy field around a person. I'm really big on teaching practical applications of what's the point of seeing the aura. Okay, so you see it, now what? And what's important to understand is that when you see the aura, you see what people are thinking. You see what they are feeling, what they are emoting. If you have a baby that's crying and it can't say to you what's wrong, you can see in the aura if it's not feeling well or if it's just cranky. If you have a teenager that doesn't communicate, you can see in the aura if they're in a bad way, if they're depressed, or if they perhaps are doing drugs, or if they're just being a moody teenager. You can see things about your boss. You can see things about others. I've taught people in a variety of careers how to use the aura and see it to have better communication with the people. So that really helps. You also can learn how to extend it further. The Buddha was very big on teaching this. It said that his aura expanded up to 10 miles, and so he would send a message out in his auric field and say, I'm coming to town, and people would get the message and feel his energy before he ever got there. When we learn to create this structure and expand it, we can get more energy. As stressed as everyone is right now, we rely on getting sleep to kind of recharge our chi, our prana, our pranic energy. But when we can restore the aura and learn how to cleanse it, repair it, energize it, we can draw forth more energy and have more energy even at the times when we're not getting the same sleep that we should or nutrition. So it helps with that as well. It's also a center of psychic self-defense. If you're doing work like that and want protection, you can build the auric field around your home, around your car, and do things in that way. And you can tap into this energy, including reading the aura of buildings and pets and other people too. When we work with it, when we understand at a deeper level, we first have to understand how the aura is built. And when we're born, the first 7 years, from 0 to 7, we are really manifesting our physical aura, that layer. So it's very important we get good nutrition, and we see how fast the body grows during that time, how quickly. So we're forming the physical nature of the aura and the body.
So can we actually say that the aura is the life force, is representing the life force within us?
Yes, one layer of it does. The etheric layer is the battery, and that's that white light, and that shows the moment of our birth. When we're born and we take that first breath, we activate the aura. And the moment we die and take that last breath, the aura goes with the cords, goes back up into the higher realms. And the light leaves the eye. As we know, the aura color leaves the body, and it disappears. And Edgar Cayce is probably the most famous talking about this. He saw auras his whole life. And one day he was in a high-rise waiting for the elevator. The door opened to the elevator, full of people, and he didn't see an aura around anyone, and it shocked him, which it would shock me. I see auras around everyone, too. So he stood there just kind of trying to figure out what that meant. He didn't get on the elevator, doors shut. Well, the cable snapped to the elevator, and the people fell to their death.
Oh, my gosh.
And that's, documented there with Edgar Cayce and his teachings. So the ancient teachings have always talked about this, that the aura is kind of prepares, it pulls inward to the body and prepares to take the soul and all your experiences and your emotions and your thoughts and personality, and all that rolls back up from the aura and goes up through the cords when you pass on. So it holds everything. It's like the etheric body, and it holds all of our experiences, our thoughts, and emotions.
So tell me, how do colors, food, crystals, and other natural elements actually enhance the aura?
There are so many things like that have been given to us, and they're healing techniques that used to be used in the ancient temples when we had temples and communities, and we did more of a kind of a mind, body, spirit type of healing there. So you would go to these temples, and they would work with you. They would listen if you had a disease, an unease, something that was bothering you on a health aspect. They would write down what was going on with you. They would have you sleep there, and have someone who was like an energy worker that would record your dreams if you woke up during the night, and talk to you and interpret your dreams to see what was going on in the subconscious. And then they would prescribe treatments for you, colors that would infuse the aura to bring it back into balance. You'd have someone that today we'd call like a therapist who would help you talk it out and see what was troubling you. There were certain teas and botanicals and foods that had the proper nutrients that would help align the energy bodies as well and put that back into space. And then they worked with crystals and lights, and different rooms were colored in different lights as well, all to balance back the colors in your aura, which are reflecting from the chakras. So the colors of the rainbow, if you think of it, the red, yellow, orange, green, onward, blue, purple, all of those colors to balance it back to help heal you from the aura. They understood the mind, body, spirit connection, that what's going on in your aura, in your mental field, your emotional field, your spiritual field, your physical, when you address it in the aura, you can then heal from that coming inward. And like I was saying earlier, 0 to 7 is the baby with the physical. 7 to 14 is when the mental aura gets really advanced. And that's why it's so important with children that we get the basics at that time, that we learn. And that's why children at that age, as you know, are why?
Exactly.
Because their mental auric field is expanding and gathering all this information. From 14 to 21, when we hit puberty, is the emotional field. And that's why we're so emotional as teenagers. I love him. I don't like her. We're not friends anymore. Nope, we're back friends. It's a chaotic emotional field where we're learning how we're going to love, how others see us, how we feel about ourselves. And the emotional aura takes all that in. And then from 21 to 28, it's always a 7-year cycle. 21 to 28 is when you start forming your consciousness, spiritual fields. And you ask those questions, who am I? Why am I here? And I wish it was perfectly every 7 years, but it's not. But by 28, we've been through the 20s, and we start to answer these questions. So then we go 7-year cycles, 28, 35, 42. 49 is considered a master age, where we've culminated a lot of the experiences, and we go into our wise years at that point. What's interesting is these have been taught from ancient wisdom, temples all over the world talking about the 7-year cycle. Mystics have taught this. Now scientists are catching up with this. They're looking at the biology and the genetics and saying, hey, every 7 years, every cell in your body is completely new. Every cell that you had has been replaced. And so they're talking about things like that, how your thoughts can affect your cells, how you can put different thought energy in there and code your cells to react differently. That's tying into what it was taught for so many eons now with the aura, the same thing. When we understand this consciously, every 7 years we're in a new cycle, from the tiniest cell to what we're thinking and emoting and putting in our aura. If we understand this, the potential is astounding. What we could do for better health, better wealth, better happiness, changing something we want in our life. We're not bound just by our destiny. Our free will, our thoughts and emotions can really change how we see our life, what we bring into our life, and what we want to create. So if you're on one of those 7-year cycles, think about it and what you might want to change and clear out in those fields and kind of reprogram. It is like a computer program that you can work with.
So basically, we are going back to the past, relearning what we've already known in order to progress into the future.
Maybe back to the future, since we're only bound by time here on the third dimension. So.
There you go. How does stress play, or what is the effect of stress on the aura?
Stress does a lot to the aura, like it does to all parts of us. And if we go through things for a long time and we're not getting proper nutrition and rest, it plays effect on the physical body as well as the aura. When we go through too much and we decide we're going to put up a defense and we don't want to feel things emotionally anymore. So maybe we decide we're going to build up a wall. And you've heard people describe this, I'm putting a wall up so I don't feel things emotionally. Well, you're actually doing that in the aura, and you make it very dry and brittle. So it actually starts to crack when it gets that dry. The aura is supposed to be fluid, like the ocean, or like your breath moving in and out, and the aura expands. So when I see someone, I can see their different layers of their auric field move. So, like, I always can see a professor because his mental auric field is giant because he's so in his head mentally, and his emotional field is like teeny tiny because he's not doing a lot emotionally. And so you can see the different sizes of the auric fields. So, but when you put a wall, you're correct. You're not letting emotions, affect you, but you're not letting the good energy come in either. So it gets very dry and brittle, and the stress from that can make it crack, and then you're leaking energy, which can make you feel more tired and sluggish. Or some people take on too much. Maybe they're empathic, they're very emotional. They don't know how to clear the energy that always hits them emotionally with their intuitive abilities. And they get what's called a spongy aura, where it gets kind of wet and soggy. And they sometimes subconsciously become what we call an energy vampire. The aura is looking for energy to feel better because it's leaking energy. It's like a sponge or Swiss cheese with holes just leaking. So it's reaching out, trying to get energy, and the person may not be aware that they're doing that and being an energy vampire in that sense, because the aura is just trying to recharge itself. So you have to heal that, heal from within again, heal your emotional self so that you help the aura heal and not be a stress so it can do what it needs to do as well.
Those are the people that you meet, and you just feel so drained with them around.
Exactly. You're exactly right, and that's what's happening. And most times they don't know it. It's very rare someone who understands at that level how to drain energy from a person like that and would do it. Most people, it's subconscious. They don't even know it's happening.
My goodness. Kayla, stand by, dear. You and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Exonation, Kayla Ambrose is our very special guest this hour. www.exploreyourspirit.com, and Kayla has a new book out entitled The Awakened Aura. And we'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. My name is Rob McConnell. Don't go away.
is Elizabeth Joyce with Stargazing, week of September 29th through October 5th, 2014 for the X Zone. September 29th is a high-energy, highly motivated day when the moon conjuncts Mars in Sagittarius. You can get 3 times as much done in a third of the time. This week is a mixed bag as legalities and social networking had the spotlight. On Monday, Venus moves into one of her 2 favorite signs, Libra, until October 23rd. With 2 eclipses and Mercury retrograde coming up, this gentle sharing energy is coming just at the right time. October begins on Wednesday and is going to be a busy month as Mercury retrogrades from the 4th through the 25th, and we have another blood full moon and 2 eclipses. This week is also yours as Jupiter makes a grand fiery trine with the moon and Mars. So burn through those obstacles in front of you, bring in your good, and then rest and retire, offsetting any quarrels. Your super special someone may have a gift for you this week, or if you're yearning for a partner, you could meet someone new. As Mercury retrogrades on Saturday the 4th, be as pleasant as you are efficient and capable. Good vibes could vibrate for months to come from what you do now. You need to set straight something important or merely something annoying as offensive before Friday if possible. Everyone will thank you for doing that. This week breathes a new life into some financial matters, and if you're owed money, it could materialize now. On the weekend, a first-time guest could bring something unexpectedly wonderful or say exactly the right thing and unwittingly solve a problem for you, so pay attention. You could meet a lot of fascinating people and make many new friends as the leaves begin to turn and fall. You will also take up a creative new interest or hobby. Treasure those sentimental personal activities, routines, and possessions. Maybe photograph a perfect rose in your garden. No one ever knows when disruption may arrive and upset the status quo. There could be an announcement of some kind of new technology, or we could witness whatever it is capable of doing somewhere in the world. We are on high alert this weekend, the 4th through the 7th. Be sure to say some prayers for world peace. We will need each and every one of them come next week.
And for more information or to arrange a private consultation with Elizabeth Joyce, visit her website, www.new-visions.com. That's www.new-visions.com. Kayla Ambrose is my special guest this hour. She is your travel guide to the other side. Her website is www.exploreyourspirit.com, and we're talking to Kayla about her book, The Awakened. I want to say awkward aura. That is so wrong. The Awakened Aura. And once again, her website is www.exploreyourspirit.com. Kayla, when a person has their aura dried and cracked, is it possible to rejuvenate it, to get it back to where it should be?
It definitely is, whether it's dry and cracked or if it's spongy, either one. It has to do, I call it good oral hygiene.
Okay.
And so you have to think about your thoughts and emotions and what you're doing, because it has an effect on you at every level. It has effect in your physical body, in your bloodstream. Everything's recorded, every emotion, every thought. It's felt in the chakras and in our organs. Doctors talk about this when you're trying to heal just the physical body, that thinking happy thoughts, not stressing, taking time to listen to what makes you happy, getting good rest and nutrition, all those things that help you at a physical level also help the aura. The more that you're aware consciously of this, then you can tune in and say, what do I think about on a daily basis? What do my thoughts say? And we have a protective energy there, which a lot of people, have heard some of these thoughts about, about creating your thoughts and law of attraction and making things happen.
Right.
Well, it takes more work than just thinking about it, thankfully, because just think about when you're driving in traffic. If every thought you had came true, what you're really thinking while you're driving, it would be a crazy world out there, or crazier. So it takes a little more conscious thought and focus than just having the thought. So if you can practice that good oral hygiene, look at how you're doing emotionally on a daily basis and where your thoughts are going. You can help clean it up, and that really helps restore it.
I really believe that people have been trying to tell us this over the years. And as soon as you said that, I remembered when I was a Boy Scout. A Scout is clean in thought, word, and deed.
Yes.
And wow.
I agree, and I say I'm not new age, I'm old age, and that what I'm teaching has been around forever. They're, like I said, universal truths, and each age we come back and explain it in a different way according to what our culture and what we understand as a society. But these are all ancient teachings that have always been here for us to help us.
As the aura can be dried or spongy and crack, can electronic waves, such as the cell phone, when we put it to our head, can it cause a problem with our auric field?
I talk about this a lot, especially with people that will write stories of how they make watches stop working that they're wearing, and also that they walk by street lights, and the street lights will go off or on. People, when their auras are out of balance, they will send out energy disruptions in that way, and the disruptions will shoot out and cause electronics sometimes to work or not to work.
Right.
And they can affect clocks in a room. They can affect computers. I've gathered so many stories from people that have had their computers malfunction and things like that. I'm sorry, my little dog's in here trying to chime in with me.
No problem.
Evidently, he went to chime in his opinion from the animal kingdom on it. But yeah, so people do affect that a lot, and if you're not in balance with your aura, then those things will happen. You'll have that ripple effect.
I'll tell you something, my wife is like that. If you want to have an electronic piece of equipment screw up, just give it to Laura. She can't.
Some people are,
honest to
and
God.
that usually means she's probably very intuitive. She probably has a lot of energy, where she could, if she wanted to harness that energy with the aura, to use it, because it's very powerful when you understand how to use the aura and to extend it. And that's usually the first sign that people understand that there's something like that going on with them. So I would say your wife's probably very lovely and intuitive, and you should explore that.
We find that this happens most of the time when she comes home from work. That she'll have trouble turning on the TV using the remote controller. And yet she'll give it to me and I'll just push it and bang, it goes on. And she finds it very frustrating at times. How can she best harness this or use it or better understand it?
It sounds to me, and this is a quick diagnosis because I'm not speaking with her, but I would say she has empathic energy as well. And so what's happening is she needs to ground after work. She's picked up a lot of emotional intensity in her aura from the people that she's been surrounded with while she's out in the world at work. And so we have to clear that from the aura, especially someone with empathic energy or intuitive energy. So if she can find a little ritual that she does coming home, that maybe she stops outside, she grounds out there, takes some deep breaths. Sometimes a little bit of chocolate does it to help us ground. Even some deep breaths and release everything from the day. It will help her, not just with electronics, but so she doesn't carry that energy in that she may be picking up from other people that she's connecting with.
Wow.
It probably makes her very good at her job because she probably has a little more insight into what people need or want, what they're thinking, even if she isn't consciously aware.
Look.
But she's picking up on that, which makes her great, but we don't want her to continue to be burdened with that and carry it home in the evening.
Well, you see, she's a nurse.
That, it'd probably help.
You see, she's a nurse, and she uses her, I call it her gift. She's very empathic. So what you've said, without even knowing, was dead on, spot on.
Well, I'll prescribe some dark chocolate and some deep breaths, and even just a few minutes when she comes home, just to let it all out, to release it outside, to clear it, and even just a hug from you, and if you'll touch her back in a circular motion and rub on the back, that spiral motion helps release from the aura, just to help her ground if it's been an especially challenging day.
Well, I'm sure she's going to love the idea about dark chocolate because she loves it. So how about cell phones? Do cell phones affect the aura?
There's a lot of study of that going on with EMF, cell phones, fluorescent lighting. I find that I'm affected by it. And fluorescent lighting is really difficult for me. If I'm out traveling, doing an expo or something, you usually see I bring a canopy with me just to shield me somewhat from the fluorescent lighting. It drains the energy of the aura, the fluorescent lights do, which concerns me. At least here in the U.S., a lot of our schools have fluorescent lighting, which aren't good for the children. It's draining their aura. It's making them tired and cranky. And a lot of corporations and offices as well. So that's a big one. And we can't get away from, we're a wireless society now. We're going to have cell phones, everything. So it's better if you just practice on building your energy, making yourself stronger, rather than trying to worry and fight everything that's incoming. Because we're probably not going to get away from it unless you go live, I don't even know, maybe Antarctica. It's probably getting it as well from satellites. I don't know. So you're not going to get away from it. So we learn to be in the world but not of the world, and build your auric field stronger and better with more energy so that it doesn't get as affected. I think that's a more proactive stance to take.
How can we use our auras to create better relationships and communication with coworkers, friends, and, of course, family?
It's so cute when I see someone falling in love, because there's a cord that comes out of their heart chakra, and it looks like a plant, like, you know, plants when they're like ivy and they have stalks and they reach out. It's trying to grab something, and this cord comes out like a stalk from the heart chakra, and it's kind of moving and almost winky, like saying, "Hi, I like you. Do you like me?" And it's hoping that a cord from that person's heart chakra comes out and does the same thing. And if it does, they grab hold and they intertwine. And that's what first happens when you're attracted to someone and you meet. And if you continue with that relationship, the cord gets stronger and it bonds and it wraps around. These become what we call the family ties that bind, the cords of energy in that way. And that's why we stay so connected. And the longer you're married to someone, the thicker the cords get on all different levels. We attach different cords when we're intimate and have sexual relations. We have an intimacy there. Cords from the second chakra then connect. So the more cords that connect the fifth chakra with communication and onward, we become more in tune to our partner. That's why we say couples can finish each other's sentences, and why we're so connected. And even when we get a divorce, when we know perhaps on the mental state that we know it's time to be apart, it still takes a while for that cord to cut those cords. Just like how we talk about a mother and child cutting the cords when the child grows up.
Right.
We've built these very strong family ties, and so it's beautiful the way it works and connects.
So these cords are also the apron strings.
Yeah, they are.
Gotcha.
And they're really powerful. And the same with work. When you work with a team or you work with people for a long time, you build cords that are on a friendship level, a different type, but they're connected as well. And you're bound through those long-term friendships and cords as well, where you understand. When we understand how these work with children, with family, with loved ones, then we can send energy when we can't really talk to that person. Say the person's not a place where they want to hear what we have to say,
Right.
Or maybe it's just not the right time to say it. You can send love or energy or positive thoughts or that you're proud of them or whatever. You can send it just to that cord connection, and their higher self will get that information. It's received through the aura, and they will feel that energy. And I think that is part of the evolution in the future. We won't have to say as much. It will be more telepathic like that, where we just feel our thoughts and emotions and are able to transfer it that way.
Is it possible to use the white light to surround yourself to protect yourself?
Absolutely, and that's been taught in a lot of different cultures. And it's used in martial arts a lot as well. They really show how to work with the chi. And if you've ever seen them do their hands and make like the ball of energy, that's part of the white light. They're forming that energy from the aura, making that energy ball that they work with. So you can picture your aura, which is like a big oval shape around you. And as you work on it and visualize it, it's very easy, where you just say you are surrounded by the pure white light. Easy technique that I give in my book. You can say in 2 minutes, you just say, I'm surrounded by the pure white light. Only good comes to me. Only good comes from me. I ask for, and you can ask for whatever you want to input, divine order, divine wisdom, divine health, and then you just say, I give thanks. you hold your arms up in the air like you're making a chalice. I feel like a martini glass is what you're doing. Your arms are in the air. You're making that form of the ancient symbol, the chalice,
Right.
drawing that white light in from the higher realms. And then when you're done, you cross your arms over right hand to left shoulder, left hand to right shoulder, which seals in that white light energy. Do that twice a day, first thing in the morning, in the evening. Doesn't even take 2 minutes to say what I said there, and do that, and it will manifest and magnify the energy in the aura. And then you can use it to expand your aura larger, put it around your family. You can build an aura like that, a white light dome around your house, your car for travel and safety. There's so much you can do.
So the aura that we're talking about tonight, is this what the masters and the great painters would depict as a halo?
Yes, exactly. And that's what you see in the Renaissance and all this
Right,
artwork.
yeah.
And a lot of times you'd see a gold halo.
Yes.
That's according to the ancient teachings. And we're getting into alchemy here, if you want the ancient secrets of alchemy. That's when you work on yourself, when you raise and purify your energy, it's removing what's called the lead in the blood. It's refining the bloodstream, refining the energy. And the two serpents, as they were called, of energy, the Ida and the Pingala, as it was referred to, when they move from the root chakra and they intertwine up and up through all the chakras, up the spine, making the symbol of the caduceus, as we know, with the staff and the two serpents.
Right.
When they work up to the third eye and they mark there on each side of the temple and opening that third eye of intuition, we've received a certain level of consciousness. There are gateways in the heart chakra and other places that they don't move up until we've done the work, purified the energy. And it's said by the time we bring that white light energy up to where it opens at that chakra, it's a gold energy and it reflects gold. And that's what was painted in the aura.
Kayla, stand by, my dear. You and I have to take our final break for this hour. Exonation, Kayla Ambrose is our special guest. She is your guide, your travel guide to the other side. Her new book, The Awakened Aura. Her website is www.exploreyourspirit.com, and Kayla and I will be back on the other side of this short break as we continue here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell. Don't go away now. Welcome back, everyone. Kayla and I were talking during the commercial break, but before we get to that, I'd just like to thank Kayla Ambrose so much for coming on the show tonight. She is your travel guide to the other side. Her website is www.exploreyourspirit.com. And Kayla, you and I were talking about our pets during the commercial break, and you were saying that people can actually see the auras of their pets as well.
They really can. The cat is actually the easiest to see. If you are with your cat and you go in a room, if you turn all the lights out and just start petting your cat, they emit, it's kind of a neon green glow, and it's the easiest aura of all the animals to see. So if you have access to a cat, that's the easiest way. The dog aura, depending on their color, you want to have them up against like a wall or something, and if they're sleeping where they're still, they don't mind as much if you stare at them, and you can kind of look to see that first glow around them. But with dogs especially, if you close your eyes and listen to their bark, there's an energy that's a disruption. There's different sounds and barks. There's the happy bark, the excited, the stranger danger, get away, the growl. If you close your eyes, you can actually feel and sense that in the aura, what that bark is doing. I was doing a house cleansing for someone one time, and they had a dog that was just sleeping, but at one point it got heard something outside and got up and barked, and that bark, as I had my eyes closed tuning in psychically, really tore into my senses at that time. And I realized how fascinating that was, that their different decibels of their sounds actually are meant to hit someone else's aura and to give that feeling of happy or danger or get away. And our aura used to pick up on this when we were more in the wild. In nature, we had to have our aura more in tune like the animals to sense that danger. That's why if we're somewhere in a restaurant and all of a sudden we feel someone staring at us, but we don't see it, they're behind us, but our head whips around and our eyes lock contact. We know who the person is staring at us. That's our aura doing that, and that's what it does with nature. That's why if you've been out in the woods and you see a deer. The deer doesn't see you. Maybe it does smell you depending on where you are, but they're very intuitive with their aura. They can sense they're being watched or someone around, and we have those same abilities, but it's really fascinating to see that with your dog and what the bark does and how it's attacking the aura, saying, hey, you better feel scared, I'm coming for you, or hey, I missed you so much, I love you, can you feel it, I'm emoting it. And the animals really show it really well.
We have so much to learn from animals. I believe that if animals were running this world, we wouldn't have the wars that we have.
Definitely not. I agree. We have so much to learn from them. They're a great teacher.
They certainly are. Kayla, it's been a great pleasure having you on the show. Let our listeners know how they can find copies of your book, because I think that a lot of listeners are going to want to buy it.
Thank you. It's published through Llewellyn, and I just had someone in Canada, in Toronto, taking pictures at a bookstore there, saying it was there. It's in the Barnes & Noble, it's on Amazon, it's on Llewellyn. You can order through my website there or link to Amazon through that. Everywhere with Llewellyn that it is. So I hope everyone tries at least the exercise to enhance your aura, awaken your aura, and let that energy flow. And I'm so glad that your wife, being such a healer that she is, I hope that helps her for grounding too, and so that she can go on to do everything that she does. She sounds absolutely wonderful. And Rob, you have a beautiful aura. It's so blue with communication and just electric blue and silver. It's a really exciting energy. So I love being in your energy and your aura. So thank you so much for having me.
The pleasure, my dear, is all mine, and I look forward to having you back with us in October when we're going to be talking about, what's the name of your new book?
Spirits of New Orleans, Voodoo Curses, Vampire Legends, and Cities of the Dead.
Just in time for Halloween. Kayla Ambrose, thank you so much for joining us, and please say hello to your little doggy for me.
I will, thank you.
Take care now. Exonation, Kayla Ambrose has been our guest this hour. www.exploryourspirit.com. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news at 6.5 minutes past the top of the hour as the X Zone continues with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away now.